Hi, this is Nick on the 3rd of October, still with a bit of a croaky voice, but still functioning, with the second episode of this week's theme about handling emotions maturely. Now, I don't know what your background was, but I grew up in a family. My father was a lay Methodist preacher, so we were quite a kind of Christian household. And I think that one of the things I struggled with, and I think that many of us do, but coming at it from different ways, is there are certain things we think we're not supposed to feel, or it's bad to feel. So I thought, as a good Christian boy, as a good person, I wasn't supposed to feel anger. I wasn't supposed to feel jealousy. I wasn't supposed to feel competitiveness. So I guess, like most of us have to some extent, it all depends on our family of upbringing. There are certain emotions we think we're not supposed to feel. So for me, a fundamental is there are no emotions we're not supposed to feel. Our emotions are our emotions. Whatever we feel, we feel. The question is not about trying to judge our emotions or invalidate our emotions, but to learn to form, I think, a relationship with with our emotions. Learn in a funny kind of way even to collaborate with our emotions. A friend of mine has a lovely idea. He talks about, well, what's the message this emotion is trying to get across to you? So that's something I've learned more over the years, is like to be in more what I would call an inquiry mode. What is my hurt telling me? What is my joy telling me? What is my inspiration telling me? What is my my anger telling me? What is my jealousy telling me? If it has if emotions have a message for us, what is it that they want us to understand? Rather than just try to suppress them or judge them or try and get rid of them, how can we hear the message that emotion is trying to get across to us? And I guess that presupposes, to some extent, that we believe that our emotions do have a positive message and that they're worth listening to. So I would obviously frame that in this manner, that there are no such things as negative emotions. There are no such thing as bad emotions. Every emotion has its purpose, and when we understand its purpose and can hear the message and what it wants us to get, and that may take time, that may take us days, weeks, months, years even, to understand the message behind an emotion that we've experienced. But when we can get that kind of message, then we can integrate that emotion and be much more comfortable with it. And I think, what part of what I wanted to do this week was just to kind of share what I've experienced over the years, that the more I become comfortable with my emotional life and in its many different hues, the more I find people are kind of comfortable with me, because they know that I don't judge them for whatever emotions they're going through, that I don't judge them for their competitiveness or their anger or their upset or their hurt, because I've kind of made a peace, not by any means total peace. I'm still working through lots of stuff myself, but making peace with more of my emotions, so people feel safer having their emotions around me, if that makes sense. But also another dimension I would add to this is, I think sometimes why we find our emotions difficult to handle, or certainly the reason I found my emotions difficult to handle at times, is I'm not sure how much of them are even my emotions. I think we, to some extent, kind of inherit emotions from our family of upbringing, from our culture, from our society. I'm not saying we're necessarily victims to them, but we inherit energetic emotions. So I think the things that sometimes we find hardest to deal with are emotions that we've inherited from other people, whether that be our family or our religion or our employment or our team, wherever we've belonged in our life, we've probably inherited some of their emotional kind of patterns and programming. And I think it is hard to deal with other people's inherited, it's hard to deal with the emotions we've inherited from other people. I think we can learn to handle our own emotions quite well. So one of the things I've learned over the last few years, maybe I can talk about this as things go on this week, is how do we handle what we've inherited? Because, it's hard to handle what's not ours, but we've inherited it. So just a couple of thoughts today about not judging emotions, but allowing all of our emotions, seeing the gift that they're trying to give us, the message that they're trying to share with us, and also, maybe they're not even ours. Maybe we've just inherited them, and how can we handle that? So that might be helpful. I saw Sean, I think Meg had been on live, so thank you for watching. Yeah, be back tomorrow with another thought on this subject, massive subject, and I'm interested to kind of just share some of my experience and my thoughts this week, so hopefully they're helpful to you. God bless, thanks for joining live, and hope you enjoy watching this. Bye-bye.